Good morning, it's your boy Calabasas Jones, here on another episode of Calabasas Reviews. And you already know what I'm reviewing. Moon Knight Episode 2. Oh my goodness. Yeah, this mug was on fleek. This episode was, it was straight up legit. So before we dive into that, as you can see, I'm wearing a new shirt here. As I say at the end of all my videos, stay powerful and keep flexing. But now it's in shirt form, so, I got these available now. Pick them up on my site, and yeah, you can be fashionable and always remember to stay powerful. Critical. Okay, so Moon Knight Episode 2. Yeah, let's get into this. Titled Summon the Suit, which has to be like the dopest conceivable title for anything and all too appropriate. Directed by Aaron Moorhead and Justin Benson. Written by Michael Castelline. Executive producers Kevin Feige, Oscar Isaac holding it down, among several others. The main cast is Oscar Isaac, of course, as Stephen Grant / Mark Spector / The Moon Knight. Ethan Hawke, always holding it down, as Arthur Harrow. And May Kalamaui as Layla. And my man F. Murray Abraham as the voice of Khonshu. Easily one of the best parts of the episode in the series so far. Okay, so the show keeps getting better and better. And not just the show itself, but Marvel shows in general. My man Dagogo Altride on the channel Cold Fusion has a phrase he uses often called moving from strength to strength. And that's exactly what Marvel's doing. They kicked it off with WandaVision, which quickly became my favorite Marvel show of all time. It was just too good. And the list breaks down like this. Number 2, I have Winter Soldier and Captain America. Hawkeye, number 3, great show. And Loki. I mean, nothing Marvel does is bad, but Loki comes in at the bottom of my list. Just off of what I've seen so far, Moon Knight has risen to the number 3 spot. It's crossed over Hawkeye, so I've got WandaVision, Winter Soldier, Captain America, Moon Knight, Hawkeye, then Loki. That's my list so far. These shows, they just, like I said, the first trailer of Moon Knight, I was like, what's this going to be about? But these shows keep getting better and better. And they're doing what they do, which is like world building, character, interaction, the graphics, the effects themselves, and are just building upon it. So Moon Knight is continuing the tradition. So as far as this episode, so Stephen's finally starting to get a little bit more into what's actually going on inside his body, so to speak. And, it's the plot is thickening. As the episode says, he ends up summoning the suit after kind of a long internal struggle, no pun intended, because of, what's obviously going on inside him. There were multiple moments from this episode, and I'm going to go into what those were, like my favorite moments. Starting from the beginning, he ends up meeting Layla, and she takes him to his apartment. When he starts reciting that French poetry, and, she starts hitting it with him, I was like, yo, this man's a player. Like, he thinks he's a nerd, but he's secretly a player. So I like that moment there. That was cool. They gave me a good little laugh. Let's see. The presence of Khonshu in general. Khonshu is just he's one of the best parts of the series so far, because he's one of those unintentionally funny characters. Like, super scary, obviously a creepy presence. More than likely very powerful, but just his voice. The directness when he speaks when he's standing behind Arthur and Stephen's looking at him, and he looks at Khonshu and he's just like, kill him. Those just extremely direct method of speech. He's unintentionally funny. So the presence and the voice of Khonshu, shout out my man F. Murray Abraham, there we go, for just doing a great job with that. Let's see. The suit summoning itself. I mean, of course, anytime the character puts on the suit, these are classic moments in any superhero, any like form of media. Iron Man dons the suit. That was part of the whole mystique of those movies of Iron Man 1 in 2008 when he puts the suit on. Like, that in and of itself made the movie dope. Batman, The Dark Knight, when like he has the suit in the glass case and it rises out of the ground. Like, these are dope moments. So the donning of the suit is always cool. Spider-Man, when he gets his new suit, fresh out of the Fabricator from Tony Stark, in that was Spider-Man Long Way From Home. These are going to be great moments, and Moon Knight continues the tradition. When Stephen finally gives the body over, and Mark's like, all right, it's my time to shine, and summons like the dope, like the ceremonial armor suit. bro, they go out of their way to make these moments like extremely dope. And this mug did not disappoint. It's right in that tradition. So yeah, summoning the suit itself, top tier moment. I liked how they brought in the alt suit. Moon Knight is one of my lesser read characters from Marvel. But anything Marvel or DC, pretty much anything comics, I'm quite knowledgeable about. So I've been exposed to the suit, like I've seen it, in covers and this or that. The suit, like an actual like tuxedo. So to see them throw that in there was cool, and that was Steven's spin on the suit, like his own psyche manifesting the suit. So that was cool. They brought that in. That's something for real comic fans. Let's see. And last but certainly not least, I mean, Mark himself, when he becomes the Moon Knight, I just like how they show those dichotomies. And they went into this also with Hawkeye, showing Clint in action versus Kate Bishop. Like, you can't make every character perfect, you know what I'm saying? Because it takes away the drama of the show. If they're like, oh, every character can solve every problem. But at the same time, it's good to show that certain characters, like they're on it. So there were moments where they would show Kate go through a situation where she would kind of like, mess up or just not do it that good. But basically, anything Clint was involved in, Jeremy Renner, when he did, his actions, like the only thing that had to happen was he had to get to the location. He made no errors. I mean, like he's a SHIELD agent first and foremost, as well as being like Hawkeye himself, having this preternatural sight/aiming ability. And then he's an Avenger. So, everything he did was right, so to speak, like beating people up, no errors. So crossing over to Moon Knight, it's just good to show, it's of course frustrating because you want the situation to be resolved. So, when Steven's kind of bumbling around, there's an element of like, let's get this show on the road. But without that, you couldn't see how dope Mark really is. When he shows up and puts that suit on, it's a wrap. Like, hang it up. You know what I'm saying? It's just a matter of that happening. So when he beats up the dog, finally, and like, puts it into the situation. And last but not least, like, summons that moon knife back to him and he just like catches it, bro. I'm like, yo, this guy's dope. It's hard not to root for a guy because they're kind of trying to set him up like you don't really know what his real motives are or like what his past is, so to speak. But when he's doing like this dope stuff, it's just like, yo, this is the man. It's kind of got that Walter White effect where he's obviously a villain. Well, he started off with a noble motivation, progressed into being a villain, and then, but still was good at the end. Major spoilers for Breaking Bad, by the way. Watch that show. Redeems himself, quote unquote, when he saves Jesse. But like, obviously he's doing some very questionable, if not evil things. But the way he does things is so methodical and so dope that you end up rooting for him. I mean, it's Walter White, one of the best television characters, dramatic characters of the past, 25 years. So anyways, they kind of give Mark Spector that vibe where he's, kind of questionable, I guess. I personally like him. I don't really see any issues. But when he puts the suit on and just starts going ham, it's like, I have to root for this guy. He's just dope. So Marvel does a great job at that. I'm very excited for what's to come. 4 more episodes left in this miniseries. It's really cool so far. And like I said, it's just, they keep moving from strength to strength. These series are getting better and better, like on top of each other. And yeah, definitely the highlight of my Wednesday morning, booting up that episode and just watching some Moon Knight. So yeah, I'm highly impressed, very happy. I give this particular episode 4 out of 5 suit summonings for being very dope and giving us more info about Moon Knight, Khonshu, Mark, and Steven, and just being a dope episode of a dope show. Okay, so that's my episode review. Moving on a little bit. I'm gonna start wrapping up every probably episode of what I do with these. I'm gonna call these a climate change announcement. Calabasas Climate. We'll go with that. That sounds good for now. I was watching that recent Kirkstop video about, we can save the planet. And that's good. We can. But it's gonna take all of us. And it's like I said, there's work to be done. Okay, so my first recommendation for anyone would be to watch Our Planet on Netflix. Like, literally watch that. It's just dope just for the imagery. You see the animals, the penguins running around. It just looks great. But on top of that, it's highly informative and I would say a necessary watch for anyone. because it's kind of scary, but it needs to be. Excuse me. People are out here talking about the polar ice caps. Look, here's the thing. The polar ice caps, for all intents and purposes, are pretty much gone, okay? So this idea of like the planet is going to be in trouble, no. We're in trouble. It's happening right now. We're actually in it, okay? The oceans are like full of jellyfish. These are real issues. So to burn that fire under your butt and to really get into the mode of what's going on, I would say watch that, because it does the best job of anything I've seen so far at explaining literally what situation we're in right now, like today. We've got the late 90s, like, Nickelodeon Hey Arnold mindset, the little after school specials, where they're like, oh, the planet, polar ice caps are melting, blah, blah, blah. Nah, they're melting. We don't really have any. So, the time to act is now. But that series really opens up your mind to like what's going on in the moment. So I highly recommend that. And also, personal tip, eat less beef, Okay, so obviously electric cars are coming along and so on and so forth. But the beef industry, and specifically, it sounds so funny, but those cow burps and farts make like this gigantic cloud of methane that's like ripping apart the atmosphere, like atom by atom. So it's just, there's just a lot of cows out there in that industrial farming. I personally, obviously I like to work out, the protein aspect, but I really try to eat beef, maybe once, twice a week, maybe. I still like hamburgers. I don't really buy too much for the house because it also, it spikes your insulin. But staying on track, the beef industry, I believe, contributes more to carbon emissions than the electric industry, automotive, probably even the oil industry combined. Like, this is a real issue. And we're doing great things, electric cars and, obviously clean energy generation. But the beef industry in and of itself it's the biggest culprit by far. So, eat less beef. I've cut down dramatically just for my own personal reasons. But for the climate itself, huge deal. Okay. So that is my climate change announcement, which brings this video to a close. So I will see y'all next week in the next edition of Calabasas Flex and, Calabasas Reviews. And as I always say, stay powerful and keep flexing.